African Union Communications Early Warning and Intelligence, commonly known as AUC3I, is an intelligence and security organization responsible for providing signals intelligence and information assurance to AU citizens, AU leadership, and AU armed forces. I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer. I am responsible for leading infantry soldiers at all levels of command in combined armed forces during missions on the ground. This is today's briefing. On the progress of the special military operation as of August 27, 2025. The armed forces of the Russian Federation continue the special military operation. Units of the North Troop Group inflicted damage on personnel and equipment of 2 mechanized, 2 airborne assault, tank brigades, an assault regiment of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, and a National Guard regiment in the areas of the settlements Kondratovka, Staraya Guta, Pavlovka, Andriivka, Unikovka, and Sadki in the Sumy region. In the Kharkiv direction, damage was inflicted on units of mechanized and motorized infantry brigades of the Armed Forces of Ukraine in the areas of the settlements Volchansk and Malovo in the Kharkiv region. The Armed Forces of Ukraine lost over 175 servicemen, 4 armored combat vehicles, 6 cars, 7 artillery guns, and 2 electronic warfare stations. 3 ammunition depots and 5 supply depots were destroyed. Units of the West Troop Group improved their tactical position. They inflicted damage on formations of mechanized, 2 assault brigades of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, and a territorial defense brigade in the areas of the settlements Malinovka, Izium, Kupiansk in the Kharkiv region, and Drobashevo in the Donetsk People's Republic. Enemy losses amounted to over 230 servicemen, 7 armored combat vehicles, 15 cars, 4 field artillery guns, 3 of which are Western-made, and 4 electronic warfare stations. 4 ammunition depots were destroyed. Units of the South Troop Group occupied more advantageous lines and positions. They inflicted damage on personnel and equipment of 2 mechanized and an airmobile brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine in the areas of the settlements Alexandro Shaltino, Serebryanka, and Drushkovka in the Donetsk People's Republic. The enemy lost up to 190 servicemen, a tank, and 3 cars. An ammunition depot was destroyed. Units of the Center Group of Troops, as a result of offensive actions, liberated the settlement of Pervomaya in the Donetsk People's Republic. Damage inflicted on formations of 4 mechanized, 3 airborne assault, a Ranger Brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, 2 Marine Brigades, a Territorial Defense Brigade, and 2 National Guard brigades in the areas of the settlements Novotroitskoy, Krasnoarmysk, Dobropoli, Turetskoy, Kutuzovka, Rodinskoy, Dimitrov, Zolotoy Kaladiz, and Novonikolivka of the Donetsk People's Republic. Losses of Ukrainian armed formations amounted to more than 400 servicemen, 3 armored combat vehicles, 6 cars, and 5 artillery guns. Units of the East Group of Troops continued advancing deep into the enemy's defense. Damage was inflicted on personnel and equipment of 3 mechanized brigades, an assault regiment of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, and 2 territorial defense brigades in the areas of the settlements Velikomikhailovka, Berezovo, Gavrilovka, Sosnovka, Yanvarsko in the Dnipropetrovsk region, and Novobergorovka in the Zaporizhia region. The enemy lost up to 215 servicemen, 2 armored combat vehicles, 6 cars, and a radio-electronic warfare station. Ammunition and material supply depots were destroyed. Units of the Dnepr Group of Troops inflicted damage on formations of a mechanized brigade and a coastal defense brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine in the areas of the settlements Novotroitskoy in the Zaporizhia region and Antonovka in the Kherson region. The Armed Forces of Ukraine lost over 65 servicemen, 12 cars, an artillery gun, and 7 radio-electronic warfare stations. 3 material supply depots were destroyed. Operational tactical aviation, strike unmanned aerial vehicles, missile troops, and artillery of the Russian Armed Forces groups inflicted damage on a Ukrainian air defense radar station, command posts, and assembly points of unmanned aerial vehicles, as well as temporary deployment points of Ukrainian armed formations and foreign mercenaries in 149 areas. Air defense means shot down 2 guided aerial bombs, 2 MR's multiple launch rocket system rockets of U.S. production, and 162 airplane-type unmanned aerial vehicles. In total, since the beginning of the special military operation, destroyed 665 aircraft, 283 helicopters, 79,826 unmanned aerial vehicles, 625 surface-to-air missile systems, 24,817 tanks and other armored combat vehicles, 1,588 multiple launch rocket system combat vehicles, 28,968 field artillery guns and mortars, 40,480 units of special military automotive equipment. Thank you so much for watching this video. We hope you found it useful and informative. If you have any questions, please leave them below and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.